Episode 3. One danger after another.
The danger is my heart breaking after
Degeneration.
breaking over and over and over again.
And that's the rest of the season.
And that's the rest of the
just
season, basically.
Heartbreak.
Yeah.
So the pacing for this episode was pretty fast. It was just one thing after another, which makes sense considering the chapter it was based on was just three cases in the same day. So going through those, I guess, it starts with the curse guy that wants Reagan to curse him or to curse someone else.
Yeah. One little thing I wanted to note from that scene was like how Reagan has the book from the OVA on his desk. I thought that was a cute little callback.
Yeah, I love that. Like the book is canon. Like
is it canon now?
It's canon now.
Anime world
wrote a book. Probably only that one copy of it.
Yeah, and Reagan keeps it on his desk.
Yeah, that's cute actually.
He probably uses it to like level out the table when it breaks or something. Mom's like, that's kind of rude.
Shove that autobiography under there.
Yeah.
And the other thing of note from that scene was the slow zoom in on Mob when he was wondering about whether or not he wanted to curse someone.
It just it was so slow. I don't know why it was so funny, but Bones has really been killing it with the comedy in this season. I feel like
very good comedy. Yeah, and we saw that shot from the trailer of the guy, the curse guy, walking down the alley, and the world kind of goes red. And seeing that in the trailer, I thought it might have been in Mogami.
Yeah, I actually thought it was
because
Mogami
so
and his background or
scary.
Something. Yeah,
but no, it's just curse guy. So
it's just curse guy.
Cool.
Picking up his beer and his sushi from the market.
Same,
honestly.
Then it went into the case with the stalker Esper, which again was pretty short. It just wraps up in a few minutes.
I thought there's the one animation thing that they did I thought was really good was when they start hearing him next door and it goes from a periscope kind of scene then it goes through Reagan and Mob into the wall and then it kind of went I think paint on glass to him.
Yeah, really there was paint on glass there. Yeah. There were a few in the episode because the red thing with the curse guy was also paint on glass. And then of course Reagan just pounding on that doorbell, which was actually in the manga. We just looked at it, but I thought it might have been added. But that was it's a lot funnier hearing it than just reading the word ding,
that
ding,
was
ding,
a joke that really translated well into visual media, which was really funny.
The stalker guy was very creepy the way that he was animated, just with his eyes darting around and.
His whole body was animated in a way that made him kind of creepy looking. And Reagan's like, I'm having none of this shit. Time to call the cops.
Tackles him. We saw 2 creeps arrested
already.
In 2 episodes in a row. We're off to a great start.
They're making a statement.
Yeah, they're like, if you're a creepy guy,
Mob doesn't
you go to jail.
You go to jail.
Reagan will beat you up, and then you go to jail.
I wish ASMR where Reagan comes to my apartment and rings my doorbell nonstop and tackles me to the ground.
I wish Reagan would come to my door and tackle me. Okay, this is going off the rails. And then the Ghost family, of course, which I think was what everybody was excited for about this episode. This is one of the cases that is sort of the most emotional case in this episode for sure.
I'm surprised that they actually spent so much time on it, especially compared to the other previous 2 cases. And because
the first 2 went by so fast that I was kind of wondering if they were going to kind of speed by the Ghost family case, but they definitely took their time with it.
Yeah, they really did. Did you kind of want to split it into the first
I guess
parts?
we can just kind of keep going chronologically, but in the first part, they just kind of show up and take the picture with the teenagers and nothing really of note in that part, except for the commercial break cut out with Reagan hailing a truck to hitchhike and then both of them falling asleep in the truck,
which was really cute and really well animated,
but very irresponsible. It stresses me out to think that they both fell asleep.
Someone should probably be awake when they don't know this stranger who's driving.
This guy.
They don't know this dude.
But still, very cute, and I love the art style that they've been doing for those
cutaways. I really like them. I'm really excited to see what they continue with throughout the season with those. I think they're really cute. Yeah.
And then they added the bullying scene, which we knew was going to be in here somewhere, and the placement of it worked really well.
I think so.
because it kind of, split up the first part of the Ghost family case from the second part. Whereas I think in the manga, they're just kind of right on top of each other.
They're right on top of each other in the manga, and the bullying kind of, goes into, everything else that's going on wrong with Mob's day that day, like... Yeah. Where he's... Like,
and it gives us a little more time, next episode, too. They don't have to start with that scene.
Yeah, exactly.
Ritsu, love to see me some Ritsu.
Ritsu went ape shit. It was like Time to Murder.
And the Body Improvement Club. I just want to say, why did they all look so old and exhausted and scary? Onigawara had like 3 bags under his eyes. Like, are you okay,
That's
dude?
just Onigawara. The others are just...
Even when he was... I felt like Musashi also looked a little like worse for wear.
I feel like that's just because they're in the uniform and you're not used to the...
That's true. They just looked very old and scary to me, which I mean, that's fine.
Musashi is a year older than Mom.
Musashi is at least 45 years old.
Who's this old man in middle school?
What is he doing at this school?
You want to start a body improvement club for the
Musashi
children.
is like one of the main reasons why you shouldn't do a live action version, honestly. Like, it does not translate
Musashi
well.
in the live action.
You can't have a 15-year-old that's that buff. It doesn't work. It doesn't make any sense.
Musashi's good though. I love him.
Sideburns.
His sideburns. I just love how like they kind of just like closed up on the guy like in a circle.
Yeah, like they didn't beat him up. They just like sort of crushed him.
Just got him very
between
close.
Their rock hard bodies.
Don't say that ever again to me.
I will not.
Yeah.
Toned. I'll say toned.
Yeah, and Onigawara's like, right, and Onigawara's like, kick some ass next time, and Mom's like,
Mom's like, maybe I will.
It's like, maybe
I will kick some ass.
Well, everyone's telling me to kick an ass. Maybe I should just kick an ass.
One day, Mob will kick some ass.
Mob is already
will get destroyed.
And the city will get destroyed.
Be careful what you wish for, Onigawara.
Right. Onigawara's like, fuck.
All right, part 2 of the Spirit Family. Pretty long scene, probably like a good third of the episode was this last scene. And it was done really well. I mean, I talked some big game about how I thought the Spirit Family was going to be paint on glass.
You did.
And it was not. No one took me up on my bet, though, so I didn't lose any money on that.
I did.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, you owe me a beer.
Okay.
Right now.
But I did like the way that they animated them.
Yeah, I did too. I thought the animation for the Spirit Family was really well done, especially like the kind of like wiggly lines with them. Especially kind of halfway through when Dimple's like, "Hey, you want to go fucking ape shit to the dad?" And the dad's like, "Maybe I won't."
Yeah. Like, I'm thinking about I'm not gonna do it.
No, my son is right there.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna
not
do
in
that.
front of my boy.
And then like the music cuts out like at that part, and and that really hit me. I was like, oh
yeah.
Fuck. Yeah.
I mean, the part when he's like sort of on his knees, like begging, is like just the saddest part in both the manga and in this, where it's just like, oh man.
Because at that point, isn't he like, if you do it, just like do it so all of us can be together?
God.
And Mob's like, ah.
Yeah. This whole scene was really great. Kind of showing Mob's conflict, like when he looks at his hands and his hand kind of like blurs in and out of focus, like really showing like he's freaking out, and then Reagan's internal monologue, like thinking about Mob and trying to understand what he's going through, and this does show just how he knows that something is up with Mob, but he doesn't know how to help him, and he doesn't really understand
this episode,
what he's going through.
Right, exactly. And this episode really shows like not only like what Mob's kind of going, his inner conflict right now, but also Reagan's like kind of reaction towards it, and how he doesn't outright say it, but he's definitely thinking like, okay, I don't know what this kid's going through. I can't empathize with these like powers. And I mean, that's an internal, that's a conflict and a theme that carries out throughout the whole series, where Reagan tries to say, I understand what you're going through, but he doesn't. Yeah. And that doesn't get resolved until the very end. But I know. But I thought the Ghost family scene was really well done. I didn't feel like, not that it carried out too long, but I felt like it was carried out longer than in the manga. But that just might be because I read through kind of quickly in the manga. But I thought it was really
and it
well
was
done.
a little, like, there wasn't a like a filler scene kind of in between to break it up.
Yeah, exactly.
Which made it go by a little bit faster.
Exactly.
Yeah, Reagan was just very nice in this episode.
He was. He's a nice man.
Throwing salt in some teenagers' eyes.
After calling Mob a brat or
Yeah.
something. Yeah.
Don't call my son a brat.
He's like, the exorcism's over.
It's over.
It's over. Get out of here.
Did they drive them home that time, or did they abandon them again?
Oh, I don't know. Would you drive home the dude who just threw salt in your face?
Hey, can we get a ride?
They hitchhiked again. It's the same truck driver, and he's like,
you guys again?
He's like, I'm gonna have to ask
Something
why
weird is
you
going on
keep
up
breeding
here.
a child
Yeah.
to the forest 2 days in a
yikes.
row.
Ooh,
Gonna
yikes.
have to ask you what's going on, sir.
And another thing that was added in the anime was the shot of the family more as like real people.
Yeah.
They didn't have faces, but as more sort of, distinguished looking
And colored.
people and colored. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was really, hit me.
Oh, and
Yeah.
also, like, not even the family, but also when they first got there in the first part, there was more details to, like, the family's house. Like, you could see, like, toys and, like, the swing set and stuff, and you could, like, immediately guess, like, oh, okay, this belongs to a family.
Yeah, it was a little bit clearer what was going on.
And also, it was clear that it was, like, a little boy in, like, the picture.
In the photo, yeah.
Yeah, which really hit hard.
So those teenagers are dicks.
I mean, yeah.
I know.
They're teenagers.
Yeah, that's true. Then we got the little ending scene with Reagan and Dimple, which is hilarious. That was already like one of my favorite little interactions between them, when he thinks that maybe Reagan is also having some feelings about lying to clients and stuff, and he's just yawning.
He's just yawning.
I love that.
No moral whatsoever in this man.
He's like, I don't care. I'm tired.
I don't care.
And then he's cursed, and then they actually did show Dimple slurping that spirit
He slurped that
right off his back, which we were talking a little bit about last episode because we didn't know whether or not that ever got resolved. So they clearly did resolve that in the anime.
And also, it is resolved in the manga, but
it's more implied.
Yeah,
than, like,
and I guess I'm kind of a dumbass, so I was like, wait, did they ever do anything? I remember when I first got through that part and going into Mogami, I kept thinking in the back of my head, I'm like, what about that curse?
Yeah.
I kind of forgot about it.
Yeah, they didn't directly show it getting slurped off his back.
One didn't draw Dimple slurping it off his back, which
probably for the best.
Which was funny though.
They didn't show Reagan getting the invitation for what's the guy's last name? Asagiri? To go to the mansion?
Yeah, I think
Whatever.
so.
They didn't show him getting the invitation though in this scene, which is in the manga, so that's kind of interesting. It would have been easy enough to kind of do that little
and then,
setup
also
there,
we have this letter.
Whatever.
Ooh, wonder what this could be.
They'll take care of it in the cold open. All their cold opens have been so short for the past 2 episodes. They've been like 10 seconds long.
Were they longer in season 1?
I feel like some of them were.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like the last 2 have just been like very short. So next episode will be Reagan opening his mail and being like, an invitation, and then it'll go into the OP.
I hope
4 seconds long.
I hope while he goes through his mail, he also sees a bunch of overdue bills.
Yeah. Like, you're being evicted, and he's like, oh, well, what are you gonna do?
Stop evading your taxes. This is the IRS.
You're being audited.
Hello, we are the IRS. Give us your money.
It's like, oh God, I gotta change my identity again.
Knew that was a fake name.
And then actually, this was my initial how I thought this episode was going to end was correct, was that it would end with Mob questioning whether or not
if he should go
ape shit, which is I think just what we're calling that now.
Yeah.
And it did end with Mob saying like, what if I was evil?
What if I was bad?
And there's one translation change between the manga and the anime that I think was a lot better translated in the manga. So in the anime, he says awkward. Like, "Oh, I wonder if someone will yell at me." And in the manga, he said, "Will there be someone to stop me?" Which is just so much more impactful.
Yeah, and that has like a lot more. It carries a lot more, especially when you consider the very last arc.
Yeah, because I really love that parallel of like, will there be someone to stop me? And then in chapter 100, when he goes ape shit, like all of his friends try to stop him, and that's like the point. So I was a little peeved at that, Crunchyroll, like, sorry to lose our sponsorship here, but
in the end, well, the thing is, I don't know if that's like a direct translation or not.
Yeah,
so
I don't know what it said, and maybe someone can fill us in on what it said originally, and if that is like a truer translation. But either way, I didn't like it as much. It just seems like Mob is basically just like, oh,
I hope I don't get yelled
doesn't yell at me.
Oh, I hope Master doesn't yell at me for doing this.
Yeah, no, like that isn't. That's not Mob's concern. Is being yelled at. Like he doesn't want to hurt anybody.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like that's the thing too. Is because
it doesn't fit him.
Maz has such big concern with like not hurting anybody, especially with his powers. But now he's more conflicted with them, and it was like, what if I did do that? Like, or like, what's even the difference between humans and spirits?
And he knows he's so powerful that he's like, no, like, could anybody stop me?
Right, yeah, and that's the thing. It's like, could anybody even do that? Could they even stop me?
Yikes.
Which is terrifying. But they change it to, oh boy, I hope teacher doesn't yell at me.
Yeah.
Hope I don't get detention. No, okay. Which was kind of annoying, but I mean,
sapped the impact a little bit there.
It did. That's okay.
And then it ended with the explosion meter, which we haven't seen in a little while.
We didn't see it last episode.
Yeah. And I think in general, sort of at this part of the manga too, that I don't think there's really as much.
There's
of that.
not as many. Not as
like he has explosions, but there's not really like the. In season 1, I think, where they were, setting it up a lot, where Reagan would make an annoying comment and he'd be like, go up 2% or something, which is like very funny, but I think we're kind of getting, we've kind of like gotten away from that.
And like when you first watch the first season or when you first read it and you see the percentage, you're like, oh boy, I wonder what this is.
Yeah,
and
it definitely
you're like,
builds up that.
Your expectation is that is at the end of the season, but then you see him reach 100% in like the third episode.
Right, it reaches a lot more quickly than you would think.
And then you're like, oh, it resets, and you're like, oh fuck. So now
or the manga, it's the end of volume 1, so I guess it is a little bit more.
Yeah, it is. It's like
it's more of a bigger deal in the.
Yeah, but even then you're like, oh,
still.
But then you notice it resets. So now that we're accustomed to that mechanic, and we're like, okay, so this thing resets. Now Mob is kind of like.
And I don't. Yeah, you just looked at that chapter. Did it show an explosion?
It did.
Okay.
It was a 67.
Oh, okay, which was also 67. Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't
sure.
It was
like
that was
exact. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they really do such an exact like adaptation. Like there are a lot of things that I expect when I'm watching it to have been like added by Bones, and you go back to the manga and you're like, oh no, it's exactly like that.
Even some of like the kind of like redraws are almost exact. Like the one with in this episode specifically, when they look at the curse, the guy who's like, can you curse this bald dude? And Reagan's like, no.
Right, when he's leaving,
yeah,
and
when
he's like,
leaving,
I'll curse you.
It's like that's like exact,
the exact
like,
same
almost
face,
exact same face from the manga, which is really cool. But yeah, I mean,
they're like, well, we can't improve upon this at all.
Yeah, that's
and then
true.
the guy, I think, is it the guy that's bullying him? They have.
That shot when he's
that's
like
also like exactly out of the manga.
Yeah, I think either before or after Ritsu shows up and he's like standing over Mob. It's like
where he looks very scary
manga,
and tall,
and his like face is shadowed out. Yeah. That's also almost exact.
I guess one more thing to talk about before we get to our next week discussion is I was expecting also to see the to see the scene of Tsubomi going to spirits and such.
Yeah.
And it wasn't in this, so I keep being wrong in where I think this is going to be. Yikes. So I have to update my prediction. I guess there's like a very slight chance it could be at the beginning of next episode. Like it could be like the cold open of next episode. Like a very slight chance.
Maybe.
But it can't be during like actual Mogami arc, obviously. No. And it can't be during separation arc.
Yeah.
So and it can't be during like world domination arc because Reagan's office gets burned down. Like they can't be there.
During separation arc, Reagan just asks Teru and Ritsu to
they're like, he hates you, man.
They're like,
he's done with you.
Because I can't remember where the omake is.
Yeah, and I don't think that really impacts it a lot of like because they're not really part of like the timeline that much.
No,
they're just sort of like
the
little
only
things.
thing is like it's like I remember Mob wasn't in the office because it was Musashi's birthday or something.
Okay, so
I think after separation arc.
Yeah, and that actually kind of that actually kind of fits where I now think it's going to be, which is in the same episode as the marathon scene,
which is right before,
right after separation arc and before World Dom. So and that will kind of help like fill out that episode a little bit because right now it's marathon, and I feel like Bones is gonna like cliffhanger that with Sho burning his house down. Like I just can't see them not using that as a cliffhanger.
Yeah, I think so too.
Like whether it's him, getting to his house and seeing what he thinks is his family, or
but I think
seeing the smoke coming up. Yeah, because I think a chapter ended that way.
I think it did. You're right.
So they'll probably do that, but like just the marathon is not enough. So like adding that omake is gonna kind of help fill that out. So that's my new prediction. We'll see if Bones keeps stringing me along on where the scene's gonna be.
You're really specified on this scene.
I am now. Like I've been wrong about it twice. So I'm like, where is it?
I was you gave me hope that I would see Teru.
I know.
This week,
I'm sorry.
And I was like, it's Teru time.
Where
and it was
is
not
Teru?
Time. We won't see Teru for a while.
I know,
which is sad. I mean, he's in the ending, which is nice.
So
who do we see first? Teru Sarasawa.
Teru, definitely.
I mean, yeah, definitely, because he's gonna be in Sep arc. But...
Yeah. Anyway, next week.
Oh,
lads.
no.
Oh, lads. We're getting into things now. Next week's episode is going to be called Inside Evil Spirit. Yeah. And the inside part has me thinking that it will end when Mob goes inside of the mind world thing.
Oh god. That's going to be a heavy episode just because like everything
which means
leading
a lot
up to
will
it.
happen cuz like trying to figure out like what will sort of happen and how Mogami arc will be like, you know, paced out. It's a good thing that they already took care of like the bullying scene.
Yeah.
Because they need like every minute they can get to do all of that in one episode.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
I'm thinking maybe next week's episode's going to end with Mob entering the Mogami world, and then next week's episode's going to start with that bullying scene almost exact, and you're going to be like, whoa, what the hell's going on? And you're like, where's Ritsu and everybody?
That would be a good way.
They're not there.
That would be a good way to kind of like introduce that.
I feel like that might be what they do. Because I think also, because we were just like skimming through Mogami arc, like the beginning of it, to see kind of where they're fitting everything. I think also Mogami's backstory itself is covered next week.
Yeah.
Because it's like kind of covered while Minori is like freaking
destroyed
everything, about to punch and gut her father.
Yeah.
Oh, fucking hell might be next week.
Oh, yeah. So if you might have seen the debate about whether or not Reagan will say fuck, because in the manga, whoever translated it, whatever good soul translated it, his reaction to Minori as oh fucking hell, which is hilarious, and I doubt he'll say fuck, but I'm also very hopeful.
Please.
Let Reagan say fuck.
Let Reagan say fuck. The feeling when this girl just guts her father in front of you, you're like, oh hell.
I honestly hope, like, I was thinking about how they might translate it in the dub, and I'm like, worst reaction is if he said like, holy crap. I would sue Funimation if they...
I wish Reagan swore like an old person, like, shiver me timbers.
Shiver me That's in character.
That is.
I hate it, but it's in character.
I wish that was the case. I wish that was canon, and then Mob in the corner is like swearing like a sailor, like, holy fucking shit balls, what just happened?
Mob should swear more.
Mob's a good boy. And I mean, like, swearing doesn't have the same like weight as it does.
So translating it is always
Western
a little bit
media as it does in Japan.
Yeah.
But also it's funny.
But I like it when they swear. It's funny.
Also, it's funny to hear Reagan swear. Because we are but pea brains.
Yeah, we're like, ooh, he said a bad word.
Ooh, he said the F word. So yeah, Mogami arc starts next week.
Mogami arc, we're there, guys. We're doing it.
I know. I was like, I knew it was gonna be coming soon, but I was just like, oh shit,
it's happening.
It's already almost here.
It's all happening.
So that's gonna be
fun. Cheers, bro.
Yeah. How long do you think Mogami's gonna be?
2 episodes. 2? Is that what you mean? Yeah. Okay. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be 2 episodes. And then I don't know. I mean, I think that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I think that separation arc has to be more than 1 episode, but I also feel like it can't be fully 2 episodes.
I feel like separation can be 2, but I'm not sure. Honestly.
I hope it's 2, but
I don't know. They've been pretty good with the pacing.
Yeah. Yeah, they have been. So
yeah,
I have faith. I continue to have faith.
I continue to have faith.
We'll hit you next week. We'll be crying and screaming.
Oh fucking hell.
Oh fucking hell. Signing off with that.